Okay, it's 11:05. So let's get started. Okay, it's 11:05. Let's get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. It's next in a series dedicated to legacy systems modernization. The main topics of today's webinars is a reminder how we look at system modernization, what are the main challenges we typically face when working with legacy systems, and how to deal with them that I will show you in our case study. I would like to introduce myself to you first. My name is Tomáš Mojžíš, and I have been working at Profinit for over 14 years. I have worked in, let's say, all roles of software development, and today I would like to share with you the experience from the modernization of a specific system, which I have been participating in for almost 5 years. Okay, how today's webinar will be structured. First, we look at the challenges we face every day. In the next part, we will try to outline the approach to modernization that can work for us in our systems. And finally, I'm going to present a case study where I will show how to continually modernize extensive and large system using two approaches. Of course, I would like to share not only my experience with you, but I would like also know your situation, the challenges you are facing. We have prepared a few polls where you can share your thoughts interactively. Okay, so typical challenges. You know, sometimes you feel like you don't know where to start when thinking about challenges. They look all important and urgent and not so clear. In my presentation, sometimes I will use few Gartner diagrams that can describe the situation quite accurately. Good thing about them is that they can describe complicated things in a very simple way and digestible way. Okay, when we look at our systems, there are many stakeholders involved in. There are shareholders, regulators, employees, suppliers, and the most important is our clients. When we are talking about system modernization today, we will focus now on customer side. There are many channels how to interact with customers, from workers in field, branches to websites, mobile applications. We can call this digital transformation. The main rules we typically follow are keeping the customers satisfied and selling our product or our products. And now let's start with first interaction. I have first poll. Please do not hesitate and select answer that you think that are challenges you face today with your systems or your system. Oh, I will present a poll. And do not hesitate. What challenges are you facing with your current systems today? There can be many of them. Yes, system became too complex. Yes, with time it happened. Yes, business expansion. You know, we have more products, more clients, more countries, more everything, more of everything. Okay, let's wait a second for answers. 7. Okay. Okay, system became too complex is the winner. Okay. Thank you very much. Now, let's see that what we, from our perspective, can see as the main challenges we are facing in systems today. Okay, I will try to recap these main challenges which we see when we're dealing with our clients' legacy systems. The first one is poor digital business support. You know, system is good, it serves functionality for which it was designed some time ago. It still generates revenue, but you need new channels, new business models, you need to open data customers, open data to customers or access new platforms. And that can be a problem with existing system. The next one is changing requirements. System was great, for example, for back office use, but when you need to open it for customer, for the web use, it's not usable in mobile devices or customer self-care. It's not that great. It has poor user experience. There are parts of processes that cannot be completed using old functionality, and so on. Next, high pace of change. Systems today are facing rapid changes. The frequency of business requests accelerates, and that introduce pressure to deliver rapid changes in the system. Older systems typically lack or have limited versioning of the code, no CI/CD pipelines that are not created, and so on and so on. The other one, compliance risks. Using aging technologies and unsupported platforms, and they may impose security risk. And another thing is that there is very difficult to find people that are willing to support those aging technologies. Imagine that you need COBOL or C programmer. They are diminishing from the market now. And the last but very important things, maintenance costs. We can see that with time, the technical debt is growing. If that is coupled with poor code quality, insufficient standardization of development, the maintenance of system become very expensive. And instead of building new features, we spend majority of time and money with fixing defects. So a question arises, how my system become legacy? Who is responsible for that? Who is to be, let's say, blamed? Okay, let's see the reasons. How did a system become legacy? For example, users need to use more channels, but system has been designed for only one. Okay, years ago, the branch office was only one channel used to meet clients and so products, but now it's not the only option. The next thing, business has grown, you know, more clients, more products, a lot of campaigns and so on, but system is not ready for that. Number of transactions or electronic documents is multiplied and system is not able to handle that. Next thing, requirements have shifted. System had a perfectly functional and acceptable user interface for backend operations, backend users. But now when we want to expose it to the clients, we need it fast, beautiful, adaptive, responsible, and so on. In addition, we need to support, for example, paperless operations because client does not want to go to the branch anymore. Next thing that can happen, development capacity is increased. Well, now managing 100 people is really different discipline that to have a small team of 20 members. It requires some management, some organizational changes, better work distribution, and overall cooperation. And systems, there was technical debt, and it was acceptable. We knew that is there. We were able to live with it. When the system is new, needs to be on the market and functional soon, we make compromises. But now when we needed to make changes, we find that it's very risky, it's costly, and we really don't want to do it. Okay, let's go to another poll. Which situation are you familiar with? What problems and what challenges and what things are on your thoughts now? let's wait a second for next call. Yeah, requirements shifted. Yes, technical debt not acceptable anymore. Yeah, that's a really big problem because technical debt that is increasing is limiting also the other aspects and give us to other situation. Okay, technical debt not acceptable anymore. Yes, that what we can see. What we can see in majority of the systems that we participate in. Okay, let's move on. So if we know how has it happened, that system becomes legacy. Another question arises, why did a system become legacy? There is no really one person who is responsible for all that that happened. It's more likely that some harmless decisions were made during development that slowly but constantly began to form this situation. It was like a series of quick wins because, for example, we have to release now. This feature must be ready in next release. We have not enough resources now. We need to fix it quickly. There are regulatory or legislation reason, and so on. It was everything step by step, bit by bit, and we have reached some kind of breaking point that the system is not acceptable now. And what is next then? Then we can say, okay, let's replace the system. My old system is not able to serve me what I need. But question is there the only option? Can we imagine what it means that system will be completely replaced with other one? This system is not the only one in the organization, that it has a lot of integrations to other systems, and there are many users that know the system very well, and so on. Yeah, I would not be talking here if replacing system is the only one option. And there we may still be wondering why deal with the old system and not just replace it with, for example, a product. There are three areas to consider. The first is cause, risk, and impact. We often find that system replacement offers are product offers, but our system has an interface to other system. These must be typically be changed, and data migration must be prepared. And this is typically very expensive. Another question is whether the product will support our business or whether we need to change the business to suit the products. Large companies have bigger problems with this because they, have a traditional business model and their own rules. Next thing, business cannot wait. We cannot wait for the system to be completely replaced before it happens. So we must support the old system and change it in accordance with the other business requirements. And last things, no one can predict the future. We should be really careful that the roadmap of the product is, in line with our business roadmap. The product will be able to deliver new functionality continuously, and really even the new systems require modernization. Okay, coming to system modernization. We have decided not to replace our legacy system. When we look at the system, the key is to find the friction point. These are the parts of the systems that cause the most problems. These problems can be of various natures. It can be business performance, it can be parts of the system that cause many errors in production. And then we apply the most appropriate form of modernization to these problematic parts. One of the possibilities, completely replace some part of the system, or to hide other problematic parts behind the more stable API layer or to extend another part, for example, by extended web interface. The same way as the problems appear, they can be solved, step by step, bit by bit. There is no blueprint how to solve all the problems. They need to be properly analyzed, and the best approach then applied. Okay, no, I would like to present you our case study where we participated, and we are still involved in the modernization and development of an extensive branch system. This is a project that is still alive, and we are still an integral part of it. And long story short, friction points were found and actions were taken. It's no coincidence that the systems that live and are used for a long time will start to look like medieval castles over time. Castles were built deep in the past by small church and several buildings around. And as time went on, conditions changed, the castle expanded, a newer building style was used, something was added, something was rebuilt, enlarged, or even destroyed. It is similar with the systems. Over time, something is always added, sometimes is redesigned, and something is deprecated. In the end, it's such a castle. Such a system, you can call it a technological zoo. And let's now look what such system looks like and what led to it led into its continual modernization. This is an extensive front office system for a leading Czech bank. The origins of the system go back for 15 years. Primary task of the systems was to enable users at branches to manage products offered to their clients that coming to the branches. It's 15 years old. It was 12 business modules, some supporting models. It was more than million lines of code, and it was designed really for one channel only. And on the technological side, it has one size fits all shared code base. These systems became impossible to replace, but also really hard to maintain. It was full of haunted forest, more than 10 years old functionality that nobody wanted to dig in. Now let's make another and last poll. How old are your core systems? Please feel free. We will see. Well, more than 10 years. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, really over 5 years. The other option was more than 15 years, but 10 years is really old system. Okay, that you can see really the system is becoming old, and more than 10 years is the winner. And we will see what was next with our 15 years old system. Okay, that's the system. The architecture of the systems corresponds to the time when it was created. With a three-layer model. The presentation layer consists of web interface. There is a business layer providing rules and business processes, and a shared layer that takes care of workflow and integration with other systems. The first was the account management module. Then, loans module, more and more modules were gradually added to the system. And the architecture of the systems, yes, the system is basically monolith that has absorbed all new and new functionalities and modules over time. And typically, when we are facing legacy systems, yes, we meet monolith. And with this system, the situation gradually became to be more and more problematic and system less and less maintainable. And but because the systems had large number of dependencies, it was difficult to respond new requirements, new products, new channels, and so on. And another situation occurred that was the agile transformation of the bank, when the whole business was divided into parts that were relatively independent, and the system needed to be divided too. And another was that the system was moved from the exclusive supplier to the bank, and introduced a multi-vendor environment. People from other suppliers started working on the system, and the system has become more and more open. And of course, there was a problem with the people who came to the project. New team members struggled with the original complex code. The quality of some parts of the systems was not good. It was difficult to correct design errors from the past, and it hindered the whole process. And another aspect is the technology and architecture itself. The system is based on technologies that are no longer supported. The system architecture no longer allows for the development into other required channels. And in addition, the bank began to implement a new architectural style with greater involvement of microservices, NoSQL databases, asynchronous communication, etc., etc. And the transition to the new architecture was recommended for all new systems, not about existing systems. So, how to get out of it? The first step that needed to be done was initial system assessment. His reason was to identify the boundaries of individual business areas to find the critical friction points. This succeeded, and based on divide and conquer principle, the system was divided both organizationally and technically into more tangible and smaller parts. Then there was discussion about how to deal with those parts. The system contains modules that are simple, smaller, with fewer integration and processes. And it also contains modules that are complex and extensive, with a large number of integrations and dependencies. For smaller modules, we have chosen the per module gradual modernization of entire modules. And for larger modules, we have chosen to upgrade only the parts of these modules that was most problematic parts. And I will talk about it in a moment. Okay, here we can see the first part, the division of modules into business areas. New teams were also divided and formed, large team divided into smaller ones. Business representatives were added to the teams as a part of the new agile structure. And then we were focusing on the two ways. The first, per module modernization. The basic premise is that there are new business requirements for an existing modules. Of course, it is possible to meet the new requirements using the original architecture. Everything was ready, platform was ready, we had done it before. But the requirements have shifted, and to meet them, the effort, estimated effort, would be the same or greater than rewriting the entire module. In addition, if the module is smaller and can be delivered within a maximum of 2 major releases, it has been decided, okay, we can replace this module. And this way we replaced the smaller modules that currently required business modification, was complete redesign, re-architecturing and rewriting models using new architecture, microservices, and all new architectural paradigm that is recommended and used for new models. Okay, what about large models? The situation is different here for larger, more complex models. There are also new requirements, but the module is typically extra business critical, is generating large revenues and so on. And business cannot wait for the whole module to be rewritten in the new architecture. There is a need to choose a slightly different approach to find and gradually, continually solve as many problematic parts as possible. These are the parts of the system that generate most of the production errors. They are difficult to maintain, and changes in them can cause problems in other parts of the module. And we decided to fix only the parts of that system. And this approach continuously upgrade parts of the system, such as the no longer compliant user interface, which does not support new browser versions and other devices, processes that didn't support multi-channel deployment digitalization and paperless agendas, and the workflow system, which was controlled by the already discontinued system, and these parts caused most error in the production. And more is on the way. There are plans for modernization of other parts of this system, of the business model. And overall, this could be described as a recipe for your favorite good food. No, there are ingredients that must not be missing in any recipe. Such are the business requirements, how to stay in touch with the changing business environment, as well as the defects, how to stabilize the system, so that is operation and maintenance is the least complicated, and as well as refactoring parts of the system, for example, to improve user interface. It's important to create three main backlogs and include all of them in each stage of project or activity. The ratio can be different according to needs, but best is to include all of them. That system meets business requirements, improve quality, and changes the user experience, for example. And one more note about systems that are relatively new. Sometimes it happens that we say, yes, we have new systems, so you don't have to invest in it. Yes, but this assumption is wrong. When we look again the systems in terms of business, what is it? Fit for purpose. Agility, bringing value, we find that without further investments in these areas, it degrades, let's say, linearly. But from an IT perspective and aspects of maintenance costs, complexity, and risk, the system degrades even faster, exponentially, without investment. When you start to spend more and more just to run the system, and not change the system. Half of money just to run of system in year 3, and in year 5 you can meet that you will spend as the same money for keeping the system running as building new functionality. But if we modernize the system continuously, we can keep those curves as horizontal as possible, and we won't have to deal with the same problem as today in a few years as we do today. Okay, let's summarize. Okay. We should really think twice before ripping out and replacing the whole system. It can be risky, it can be costly, and can have negative impact on our business. Continuous modernization offers a lot more options. It's safer, faster. We can progress more efficiently. We can focus on important areas and most problematic parts. And how to modernize? Find the real goals, is friction points, and choose the best strategy for the particular case with system assessment. For example, if possible, divide business areas, find smaller parts that can be modernized in shorter period of time without unpleasant impact on business continuity. And yes, modernize continuously, make sure that everybody understands it. This will keep the technical debt at an acceptable level, because there still be one, and that doesn't block our business. Okay, and now if you have time, please, we have prepared a questionnaire, and you can fill, you can complete, and you can get a free assessment and some recommendation on how to proceed on the modernization of your system. You will get an expert opinion of the status of the system, and you can get consultation with one of our experts. And the questionnaire and more information you can find at this address. Okay, so now time for questions. You can use chat or Q&A. Please feel free, and we can discuss some points of our presentation on our webinar now. Okay, could you please share with us the key takeaways from the case study mentioned in the presentation? Yes. Okay. The system the system was really complex. The first thing that we had in mind was, okay, system is no longer giving us the value. It's really hard to maintain, and we need to replace it. And then we look into the system. We are faced that the system is really big and complex, and really it helps us the division of the system. That was the first part, and I think it was the critical part that allowed us to continue with modernization without any impacts from one business areas to another. And the business can be multi-speed. Some corporate businesses there are typically slower, and retail business is now has exploded because the COVID situation. People didn't want to go to the branches. They wanted everything to have paperless and digitized, and we were able to separate it and shift to the higher speed. Okay, did you have to change the delivery models? Yes, we had to. Before system come to modernization, it has there was no pipelines that were able to automatization allow automate the delivery of the system into production. There were many errors and problems when system was uh, taking into the production, and also when the systems was larger and larger, it was a problem to plan work accordingly to the team size and uh, business needs that was really they started coming really fast because of the situation I mentioned before, and we had to change to the more agile and more how to say cyclic and more to have to deliver the features of the systems more quickly. For example, that new modules built on new architecture, they are released once in 2 weeks after each sprint. We move these parts to the production, and it really helped us to not be afraid now when dealing with the major releases. So it was really helpful, and team is now more concerned on what to deliver, the business value, and not to deal with the problems with integration tests. They are done really fast, and also the automation of testing. It was really helpful for us that majority of our end-to-end tests are now automated using test automation tools. Okay, if I have answered this, let's wait a little bit if there are more questions. And if not, thank you very much for your attention. I hope that we will meet in our next webinar dedicated to systems modernization, where we can go a little bit deeper in the particular challenges that we are facing, and connected to our case studies. Thank you very much again, and have a nice day.